Hello, everyone. Welcome to the launch of O3 Sigma's One Day to AI. My name is Tarik Taman, and I am the CEO of O3 Sigma. We think we're unique in the ability to provide customers with a completely no-charge smart manufacturing solution, oftentimes called an MES or MOM system. And for us, we've now launched a freemium MES where customers can download the software, connect it in one day, set their center line, and within a week or two, maximum a month, they have a Copilot for everybody on the shop floor. In fact, as part of our launch, the early adopters get 30 days worth of free Copilot, also known as Siggy. Rex will take you through that in a few moments. So stepping back a little bit, we all know that the world of manufacturing is going through tectonic shifts right now. The world is deglobalizing, the world is delaboring, and no longer can factories leave the shop floor as a black hole. You have to digitalize it, you have to bring AI to the mix, and you have to be able to converge your automation, your machines with the AI, and you have to do it relatively straightforward. So since AI has become a big deal over the last 2 years, I've had many CEOs and executives say, "Hey, Tarik, we not that mature yet. We have not necessarily embraced lean to its full extent, but I need to bring AI to the shop floor. I can't wait to go through a transformation." And so we had started some 2 years ago working on a very sophisticated AI backbone. It's something called the Composite system. Rex will take you through it a little bit more. But in industry, you can't have hallucinations. It means it's a lot harder to build quantitative AI than it is to build language AI. And that's really the secret of how powerful and rich Siggy is. That, along with our library, we have a library which is an ontological semantic library that comes to every customer with an understanding of the machine, the physics of a machine, and over time, every part number and its coupling with upstream and downstream. So you don't have to start from scratch. We have a point of view, we have a library, and as you go through the process of understanding and writing down the rules of your business, you'll be able to not have to start from scratch. And so the journey that we are providing to our customers are: you download the software, you connect it to a machine, which we're very good at. We provide you all the drivers. We give you the ability to upload your documents, make sure you have FEMA, SOPs, and all of that rich history gets attached to your center line information and all of the PLCs and tags and sensors that are coming across your organization. And so when you bring together a solution that becomes an MES solution, becomes your system of record, just like that. And so our customers, they download the software, they get an IoT gateway, they get an event gateway, and immediately Siggy starts collecting information and can provide you with the kind of rich insights. And so based on that, we're going to walk you through the solution itself right now. I'm going to introduce or have Rex introduce himself. But before we do that, there's a survey that is popping up in front of you on the webinar. If you could take a moment, we'll share the results at the end of the webinar. It'll be helpful to understand where you are in your AI journey and how important of a priority it is for you. And so, Rex, if you don't mind introducing yourself, I know that I was lucky to be able to take you from many years on the shop floor and bring you as our solution architect into O3 Sigma. And so if you wouldn't mind sharing the solution and the journey and the value that our customers will get.
That's a lot, Tarik. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rex. As what Tarik said, I'm a manufacturing guy. I've been in manufacturing for 22 years. And it's a privilege to be within O3 Sigma under Tarik's leadership. So today, I'm really excited to present this amazing tool that the team had created as what Tarik mentioned, it's like state of the art. It is the next generation. Well, in terms of a guy coming from manufacturing, I would say that is not that's like the dream of every guy working in the manufacturing. Like they have their own assistant being with them. That's why it's like having a separate mind working for you. So let me start by showing to you how Siggy thinks. Now, this tool that we are promoting in one day to AI is what we are trying to promote is Siggy. In the field of manufacturing, it's always critical that all decisions should be based on data. Needless to say, hallucination is totally not acceptable. Current LLMs right now available in the market, the one that you are using, if you're going to use that in manufacturing, it has to be in a controlled level. Means you could use that in like functions related to like speech to SQL. But in terms of decision making, what you need is like a factual data after undergoing some deterministic reasoning. Imagine as a production manager, as an operation manager, whenever you are making your daily or weekly analysis, and you come up with a direct cause, but it's not hitting the root cause. Probably when you are trying to address that issue, it will going to give you a huge amount of loss. It will going to constitute to a huge amount of cost because you are focusing on a direct loss, but not on the root cause. And this is what makes Sigi real powerful. What makes Sigi powerful is that it understands the relationship and it understands the factory. It's interpreting like an interconnected system. So as I open ontology, which represents the relationship of it's defining and then understanding a relationship within the factory. Say, for example, unit is what we called for a machine. It's undergoing having an understanding about what's the NCR, what's the downtime event. So what this ontology graph is showing is that it's not representing only a certain way of understanding an issue, but a node is determining what are the factors affecting it. So if I'm going to understand what is a product, what is a fault, there is a predetermined way of understanding what are the factors affecting that. In this particular ontology, you will going to have 70 different nodes, which creates 222 different links with 23 different users. So what makes SIG different? We are using what we call a composite AI. What's a composite AI? We are using different AI methods together rather than using a certain AI model alone. What this gives us, I think this is a smart way, and we prove that this is a smart way of handling because different problems will going to need different reasoners. Say, for example, if you have a known fault mode, like a machine breakdown, you could base a rule-based knowledge graph, same as this. And if you have, and if you want to understand what is the impact of a downstream or upstream, those kind of queries could be answered with graph traversal. Now, in terms of optimization and scheduling labor, parts, inventory, we have an optimization solver. For those quality and maintenance risks, there is a predictive model. And if those answers will be given to you, it will be delivered in such a way that the answer will gonna be explained clearer and in your natural language through LLMs and Graph RAG. So what we're trying to say here is that the real value of using Sigi is it's utilizing the right logical way to answer real problems using deterministic approach. And this is what makes Sigi really different. Now, if I'm going to jump to a real case scenario, which on the announcement that we had given for this one day to Sigi, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how you could use Sigi in a way it will going to guide you in from problem definition to closing the loop of doing an action. Say, for example, in your first day of the week, your general manager requested for a meeting. And this meeting will going to say, I need to have a quick analysis of how the machine and how the operation run for last week. So I would say, Siggy, I have a meeting in 30 minutes. I need you to prepare for me a weekly report with this certain period for this department. And I need you to identify what is the worst performing machine that I need to focus at. Plus, I need you to identify what are the major contributor that's affecting its performance. Within just 60 seconds to 2 minutes, it will going to give me a quick rundown of which machine is having the issue, what factor is affecting that, and what's the defect mode, which is related to our failure mode and effect analysis model. That's part of the ontology that we are promoting here in such a way that whenever I ask a question, the data will going to be up to the decimal point based of what event the machine encountered. Those can be given to you in a data set, can be in the form of in graph, in the form of cost effectiveness in such a way if your certain issue is affecting your OEE, it can be converted to cash. Now, what's the value of this for me? I can immediately understand where the biggest losses occurred within my organization without manually putting it together. Doing this manually, it will take me 4 to 6 hours in real time. But with Siggy, I could have this within just 2 minutes. Now, if I'm having this data with all of this graph, which is directly giving me what's the answer, it will going to make my life easier that when I attend the meeting, I have those data. But moving further, I could ask Siggy as well, what is the full diagnosis? I need to understand the root cause. Again, if I'm going to go for a meeting or if I'm going to present this to top management, I need to present in a way that I have a full recommendation on how to totally address this. I could ask Siggy, I need a full diagnosis. Again, that will going to be given to me and that will be reference to all the FIMEA models that we had created, that we had uploaded into the system, and it will going to be traversed in a graph that it will going to give me what are the factors affecting it in relation to the Pareto. So Pareto could give me the 80-20 principle, which will going to direct, I need to focus in this particular issue. Now, what's the value of this? The value of this is that it's giving me direction in such a way I will know what is the issue, which of them deserves my attention first with prioritization tools, and I could even share this in terms of collaboration. Now, as a production manager, I will be needing the help of my maintenance team because it's clearly telling me that there is a machine breakdown I need to address. Take a look on this. I could just hit this button and I could put some feedback in notes. I could put an expiration and I could put password if there are some financial or some information that are sensitive to be shared. I could copy this link and I could share this link to my maintenance team. So as a maintenance manager, it is really essential for me. Why? Because whenever I share this report, I'm not only getting an information, I'm not only getting a feedback, but it gives me the full details about the machine, what's the loss calculation, what's the dollar impact, what's the reason code, what's the machine breakdown. I'm not only sharing a feedback, but I am like giving a full picture of what the issue is like. So I am handing over the whole operational context and the reason behind what are the defects and what's the breakdown. Now I'm going to wear my maintenance manager hat. Being a maintenance manager, whenever I see this, now it's going to give me a quick perspective of where I need to focus at. And this will going to give me a window of what I'm going to ask Siggy. So as a user of Siggy, I'm going to ask him, hey Siggy, I need you to give me a troubleshooting guide, which is what I say is not easy. Whenever I'm doing a root cause analysis with my team, it will going to give me like few hours to 24 hours to capture all of these details. And whenever you are waiting for information, it's a loss. Sometimes it's giving you a loss of thousands of dollars up to $100,000. So whenever I'm asking this kind of questions, the thing that gives me a quick insight is in terms of cost. So if I'm going to ask Siggy, I need you to give me a step-by-step troubleshooting guide. What does this gives me? Now it gives me a value that maintenance is now prioritized on the production loss and risk, not just by not just by the list of open tasks. So it will gonna give me a quick rundown of what are the factors I need to look at which machine, and take a look on this. On this particular issue, which is disturbance in robot control, these related parameters are taken directly into context in such a way it will going to give me where I need to focus at in terms of status. Here in my axis 3 motor temperature, who would ever think that I need to validate this particular axis 3 motor temperature? And if I'm a maintenance manager, definitely I'm going to need the help of my maintenance team to like how to look at it visually. Siggy will going to make your life easier that in this CAD viewer, you could see which of those parts and where in the full assembly it will be located. So this is the axis 3, and it's giving me an idea that this is the one controlling the movement of the robot. So if I'm going to have a deep analysis in this axis 3, I could say this might be the temperature points that I need to focus at. What are the factors affecting this axis 3? And if I want this CAD viewer to be richer, I could even upload my own CAD files. So this will make my visualization richer, and it will going to give me more insight on what are the factors I'm going to see with this axis 3. Okay? And by the way, whenever I ask this troubleshooting guide, it will going to give me a step-by-step action or step-by-step checks which of those parts I need to validate from this part of the machine. And in this particular, which is the robot, the one that is moving 180 degrees to get those plastic preforms. Now, if I want to have a closed loop and I want to assure that this issue will going to avoid recurrence, what I could ask Siggy further is that I need you to create for me a maintenance checklist. Now, I remember during one of our actions before, when I'm still handling the operation on this particular machine, this same issue have been tackled quite a lot of times because we are having difficulty of addressing the root cause. There come to a point that the operator come to me saying that he ran out of options, and it's giving them a sense that it's hopeless. So we end up of determining, okay, let's find this machine manual. You know what? Just looking for the machine manual takes hours. And an hour of loss in this particular machine is converted into thousands of dollars. Say, for example, $20,000. So if I'm having 5 hours machine downtime, it's contributing to 100,000 of efficiency loss, and that's converting to amount. Imagine if Siggy is available during that time, it will gonna give me I direct check items in priorities. Plus, at the same time, it will going to give me a work order. By the way, you could raise work order here directly. And let me show that to you because I failed to present that during the last screen. Here, you could create your own work order based on the machine breakdowns, based on the troubleshooting guides. This work order will gonna give you the stages, okay? You could even assign your own technicians, and you could even assign their own date. Now imagine if I don't have this, I'm going to have this 5 hours machine breakdown without an analysis. Now the system could guide you, even it will going to give you a quick summary of the troubleshooting guide you will going to check. So based from the feedback from Siggy, it will going to give you a quick reference on troubleshooting guide, plus it will going to give you the activities that you had executed. So this is what makes Siggy really powerful, and you could send this to your maintenance team. You could notify them, and you could schedule a PM check if there's needed. So in the PM check, this is where the PM checklist will gonna be used. In such a way, it will going to give you what are the things you need to validate with checkpoints. It's easy for me to just copy paste of this, and it will going to help you in your execution. And take note, this is in terms of priorities. Based on the feedback that Siggy has captured from machine manual, it will going to give you priorities of all the checks up to the last point. And to assure that the operation will going to be a part of closing the loop of this cycle, it can also generate a sign-off format that in such a way, all of those things that maintenance had done in their troubleshooting and all of those things that they had executed in their maintenance checklist will going to be validated by operators. And on this, It's just as easy as they could put the status and what are their comments, which is really essential to assure that all the action items executed by the maintenance team is really closing the loop. Now, if you're gonna ask me what's the power of this, is that the power of Siggy is that on this platform, it uses a composite AI. It's the system behind Siggy. The ontology graph gives relationship and the factory its own context. Deterministic approach in terms of reasoning keeps the answers grounded. And specialized reasoners, those AI that we mentioned earlier, is answering the right questions in the right logical way. And Siggy turns all of this into a practical workflow for production, maintenance, quality, and even plant leadership. And I would say with using this particular amazing tool, it will going to give an added value to whole your organization. So this is a quick demo of what Siggy could do. It still do a lot of things, but I hope we could have some more time. For now, I think there will gonna be a poll that the team will gonna share. This poll is to understand where we are right now in our manufacturing Copilot situation, in our AI transformation journey right now. And here we would like to ask you, if you have this Siggy, what will be your priority? Okay, if you had an AI manufacturing Copilot today, where you were going to use it first? Tarik, I think you're on mute.
Maybe I can start answering some of the questions that I saw pop up. So the first question was, does this replace ERP? The answer is no. This is a manufacturing operation solutions. We need to get the production order from your ERP system, and typically to get to the one day in AI, what the ERP system is, it spits out an Excel spreadsheet. We take the Excel spreadsheet, upload it, and that becomes your daily, PO or your shift-based production order. What does a supply chain solution do? Obviously the finance, obviously the procurement, the long-term supply chain planning, the scheduling and the route. Our solution gets all the way to the route. We were not a scheduling solution yet, but we will be. So we take information from the ERP, either proper interfaces or spreadsheet uploads, and as soon as we connect to a machine and set a center line, we have everything we need to be able to provide a Copilot for the production domain. Now we show up with an understanding of the library of different componentry and how it works together. We're in the process of taking thousands of documents from the OEMs, being able to extract hard data from that, so it's not unstructured data, and put it into our library as down to the part number, the physics, the temperature, the RPMs, etc. And so it really does come down to how is your AI model, how much data you can get into your AI models, but the customer has to participate. So we provide a solution called DocIQ, and the more data you put in it, the richer Siggy is. Meaning if you put your SOPs, if you put your FEMA, if you put your service manuals, if you add your illustrations, your CAD diagrams, the more data you put in, and it's relatively straightforward. It's drag and drop confirming the AI's understanding. So it's not overwhelming for sure, but it's even not necessarily necessary because you have a lot of information just from the center line and from the thousands of tags that come off of your machine. So what you get if you just do that without quality, without maintenance, you get a complete diagnostic solutions with the root cause analysis that Rex just showed, but you get 2 steps into quality and 1 step into maintenance. How do you get 2 steps into quality? That center line has a real-time understanding of every tag that's going on, what are the parameters, and it gives the quality team an automatic quality control versus quality assurance, because in real time you can see if there's a center line or a upper limit defect about to happen, and it will flag the quality person to take a look. And in fact, it automatically creates an NCR if it's out of spec. The same again on maintenance. As soon as you see a fault, you're able to notify the right person that you've had an issue to have an intervention. And so even though it's a very rich system, the reason it's so easy is because you're just dropping in an IoT gateway and you're configuring an event gateway, and everything goes from there. Our hope, of course, is you're interested in embracing predictive AI, predictive quality, predictive scheduling, predictive labor management even. And so there's a lot going on. And now that we have a very rich architecture, our ability to move at the speed of lightning is, we have. And so you'll notice on everything you read, everything's changing every 90 or 120 days in the world of AI. And those factories, those manufacturers, those companies that don't embrace it soon are going to have a hard time competing a few years from now. And so the whole design of One Day to AI is to have any factory in the world take a look at what does it mean to digitalize, connect to your machine, contextualize that, and what does it mean to bring AI to the shop floor. And so our belief is most companies, most organizations will enjoy the MES system at no charge forever, and they're more likely than not to embrace the Siggy, at least in the short run, to bring AI to the shop floor. There were a few other questions that I didn't catch. Nasser, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, there was one question about is Siggy fully integrated with O3 Sigma in terms of submitting NCRs, updating AM checklists, etc.
Yes, in a Siggy, as soon as you put in the MES system or the two gateways I was talking about, the appropriate data, either in batch or real time, goes back to the cloud. And that is where you get that's where all of the next best actions come from, right? So at the basis of Siggy, it's a loss optimization solution. It was built by Rex and a team of 35 top-notch engineers replicating what is Six Sigma Lean. And that's where the name Siggy comes from. Six Sigma, in fact.
There is one more question that how much data is collected and how much long it can be stored in the archives.
Well, two things there. For our freemium solution, we give 3 to 4 months worth of history, unless you're part of our AI, solution. And so in general, our objective is to give you a lot of value with a free MES system. But if you're looking for sophisticated needs like AI quality or long-term reporting and analysis, we will ask you for some money. That's our business model, of course.
There is one more question. How you identify the tags that need to be monitored from the PLC or sensors?
So two answers to that. Number one is we have 250 plus drivers, and we know what the PLC numbers is. We understand generally what the logic is behind it, and we give a customer a click through answer. Here are your 10,000 tags. We believe that these 100 or 200 around quality we should parameterize. These are the maintenance or machine health fault tags. We believe these 50 are the right one. Add more, add your context. We'll take that from your SOPs and other documentation. And so it's a process. Typically, the One Day to AI, you are configuring 1 to 3 SKUs. You're understanding, the 10 to 50 parameters that you want that give you the insight and the reason codes and all the events that you need to take action on. And so it's ultimately it's not that difficult of a process. In the kingdom now, we have 30 manufacturers that have signed up in the last 90 days. 10 to 15 are signing every month. We're now scheduling for August. We believe that factories in Saudi have been waiting for something like this for a long time. And for us, it's a way for us to prove ourselves, add value to you, add value to the kingdom, and be able to win this market, not just in Saudi, but on a global basis. As you can probably tell, I'm Arab American, and we have now moved our headquarters to Silicon Valley. We are a company that is making waves on a global basis. The AI that we were talking to you about, the sophisticated, has been benchmarked against the 1,600 other software companies as far as predictive accuracy. And we're happy to say that we've improved all previous results by 20%. And in fact, our innovation and our prowess is also demonstrated in the fact that we are the first AI company in maintenance to have a generalized AI that does not need to be configured. Those who have done predictive maintenance in our industry know that setting up a predictive maintenance solution means really setting up one or many machine learning workloads. And those who are into AI know that machine learning workloads tackle very, very small problems. And so to get big problems, you have to have many machine workload AIs in the background. And so what we've done is built the first GNN, or graph neural network. And by the way, if you don't have a graph, if you don't have a knowledge graph, if you don't have GNNs in your AI, it's not fit for purpose. And so whether you're a self-driving car or your ChatGPT, the entire back end of the infrastructure is based on GNNs and knowledge graphs. And so that's one of the criteria that we would urge you to consider when you're starting to embrace AI. The net of all that, though, is our predictive maintenance system. Instead of only being, which typically costs $100,000 to $500,000 to set up, because you have to set it up for every machine, for every fault, for every number of components. We're the first one where you can plug and play, and from day zero, there's no setup, which means whether it's a $10,000 machine or a $10 million machine, the implementation cost is zero. So that's kind of us bragging a little bit, though. Even though we're a startup, we are leading the world in many aspects of AI, and we invite you as an early adopter to test us. It's free for the core MES system, and you get 30 days free for the AI. So we'd welcome you to the family.
More questions, Tarik?
Was there another question?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
So
if there isn't another question, maybe I can ask Rex one. Rex.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what does the predictive anomaly detection layer actually need to work, and how trustworthy is the output?
Well, there's two aspects of that. I'm not an expert like Rex is, but I understand technology, having been a CEO in this industry for 30 plus years. And the part of the deterministic nature of manufacturing, if you're a lean shop, is everything has a target. Literally in lean, you have a target and you have thresholds for everything. And so we have the good fortune to know all of those things. So within reason, we understand the role of every parameter, the relationship of that behavior and that parameter to other parameters. We understand the interaction with it. We understand the rules. And so how does it get the information? It tags the information as part of configuration, which is immediately available to the composite AI system that we're talking about. Did I get that answer right, Nasser, or was there more to it that Rex can answer?
Yeah, I think Rex can answer the more further on this if he wants to answer that. Yeah.
You're on mute. Mute.
Sorry, I was talking. So let me just add a few things to that. Thank you, Tarek. So for predictive and anomaly detection layer, it's actually part of the composite AI that we had created. It is the part of Siggy that watches like machine or process behavior. If you're going to notice about the ontology is that the composite AI that we created there for the knowledge graph is it's actually taking the feedback from a certain node, which is a node which is giving a factor to that particular machine, unit, or defect modes. Now, it will going to say like this looks unusual compared with normal operation, or this pattern looks similar. So whenever there is a particular data that the machine captured, it will going to make it say or detect clearly saying its output is not absolute truth or it is a risk signal or investigation guide. In a secure workflow, this is connecting the idea that the cycle time or quality risk questions can use predictive models, while trusted answers still need like deterministic reasoning. So by presenting that ontology, that graphical neural network, because of the relationships between a certain defect mode that we define in FEMEA and a certain issue or event, it will going to give like an insight before it happened. And since we define those thresholds, it will going to give a sense that this is like an not normal. So before the issue occurred, it will going to give you like an alert or notification, like what we did for our core MES. Whenever we define a certain process parameter with a certain threshold limit of this is the target, a warning limit, and a out of specification limit, before a certain value goes outside of that specification limit, there will be a warning. So instead of waiting before the parameter goes out of specs, system will going to give you a notification. So this will going to give you a predictability instead of answering a defect or an issue after the fact. So this is how a predictive layer or a normal anomaly layer will going to work with Siggy. We have this already been defined using our composite AI.
I'll give you just to dive in a little bit deeper, right? So in predictive maintenance, you don't want to wait until a fault comes up, obviously, and so that means you need to know the normal behavior of a machine or a line, and as soon as it's going out of normal behavior, even if it's not yet hit a fault, you need to take a snapshot of what's happening real time, maybe go from polling your PLC every minute to every second. You have to take that entire event package. You got to send it to that composite system in near real time. You have to look for similarities within your factory, within similar machines, or within similar machines on a global basis. Of course, we're taking and building archetypes of machines, processes, the physics behind all of that, the relationships of the coupling. And so all of that intelligence goes into the AI at the edge, and that AI in the edge decides to push AI into the cloud, goes through the full loop, makes a recommendation to the business user through the right persona, and allows you to execute, whether it's a work order, whether it's a utility event, whether it's a follow-up on root cause analysis. And so you have a full loop from AI to process, or to from event to AI to recommendation to execution.
I think Tarik, you can ask the questions from Rexon. There are certain more questions we can ask in the end if you have more.
Yeah, so I've been in industry, the technology industry, for a long time, Rex, and for many years, consultants and organizations would come to transformations and they'd say, you got to get the people right, you got to get the process right, and the technology is an afterthought. You know, AI is changing a lot of that. And I wanted to ask you two questions. When you went through a lean transformation as a production manager, how hard was it for you? How long did it take? And if you had Siggy and O3 Sigma today, what would be the difference?
Well, based on real experience, Tarek, we've had the transformation within the company in the Bacon. And it took us years, even just to identify what are the factors that we need to monitor. At first, there is a lot of culture that needs to be changed because people are being threatened whenever you are implementing new system. We need to have a paradigm shifting in culture. And it took us about months before we build a culture that people will going to embrace lean. Now, from setting the foundation, it took us years. Identifying what are the factors, what are the KPIs, how we're gonna deploy that. It took us years. And after quite some time that we get used to it, we get matured in how implementing lean in the shop floor, including the people culture. It took us about another year to digitalize the experience. So we're talking about here for a journey. It's not like an overnight it's like an overnight project or like a month or weeks project. It took about years. With Siggy, uh, we have this roadmap that we had presented earlier that we are offering this core MES, which will be their gateway. And implementing this core MES, we found that it's really going to make their transformation really fast because it's just 1 to 2 days maximum implementation. After getting those data, after getting those tags, instead of having a year or months of study, we could connect your machine with just 2 days maximum. Sometimes, if the data is available, it can be like 5 to 6 hours. Okay, you could get your own results within the same day. Now, after quite some time that you had been able to build this data and you could install Sigi, in fact, if you want to utilize Sigi, you could even ask the question from the previous shift. So within just 1 day to AI, that's really possible. You could connect the machine within the first day, and then the next day you could ask question, how was my performance the previous day? So we're talking about here a journey like from years to day. That's why our webinar is like 1 day to AI. This is how we are presenting this journey to all our clients and our trusted partners.
The design point for the freemium core MES system was the least amount of change on the shop floor. You can't change the culture or the processes in a day, but you can connect to a machine, set a center line, take a spreadsheet of a bill of materials, and push a button or a production order. That is all of the change management you need. Literally, no one has to change anything. And by doing that, you get Siggy for the world of production. Doesn't include quality, but it does have some insight. As I told you before, you have your SPCs, quality control, and your defects. It doesn't include maintenance, but you have real fault, visibility to predict when the fault happens. Of course, you'd have to become a predictive maintenance customer. And so before the hard part of transforming, which is how do we change everything in quality, from 5S to Gemba walks to to RCA's 1 point training. Before you go through that long process, you first have to put in a automated lean. Automated lean needs as simple as here's the event and here's the next best action based on your business, driven by the semantics of the ontology. And so after that, in general, we believe that within 18 months, you can go through a full digital transformation. And so far, every one of our customers have got at least a 3.0 Siri assessment. And so it brings everybody a long way.
And in addition to that, Tarek, during the implementation of our core MES, we found ways on how to make it easier for our partners. As what Tarik mentioned, we have our own database that could help identify what are the connectors we need to utilize your PLCs, and what are the minimum tags that we could use just to see how are we going to get those data real time. So during the implementation of Core MES, which we are really encouraging everyone to try it, and really it's going to give you benefit. As what Tarik mentioned, it's not only like utilizing on how to automate your shop floor, but it will give an access to your operator, different levels from operator, supervisor, and managers, how to make it your shop floor smarter and more efficient. So this way, we are also giving you the full access on how to give the full transformation to your team. You could connect your own machines, and you could use it for the rest of you're utilizing your operation. But what does it give is that this will be your gateway for AI. Without this gateway, there will be no data that AI could be used. So we are not offering only the AI part, but we are also offering a gateway that will going to help you in driving a transformation from a manual to fully digitalized. So this is what we're offering here in One Day to AI.
I saw a question come up, Nasser. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so there's one question that how can I determine whether a machine issue is caused by operator or any electrical issue, or there is a defect from mechanical, or is there any raw material issue? So what is the standard for troubleshooting by Siggy in this case?
I'll have Rex answer that, but a parameter is a parameter to us, and that parameter is what drives the next best action. And so if you're getting a PLC that has that information, you combine it and say, do this with that PLC, or look at these 5 different tags, and when any of them have a certain value, create this event. How would you add on to that, since you're a proper practitioner, Rex?
Yeah. It's quite tricky whenever you're doing this manually. But I think Tarik hit it already with this answer. It depends on the maturity of your PLC. It depends on the maturity of your machine. If you have the capability or an access to get those data, it is going to give you like a direct visualization of where those issues coming from. I'll give you an example. In one of the machines that we have, there's always been like a debate on which of the issues are contributing. Is it mechanical or really really electrical? So what it does is, from the PLC itself, we identify those tags because HMI will going to reflect what are those tags that is being fed by your PLC. We go to the PLC, we get those tags, connect that to our O3, and O3 will going to give or the MES, core MES will going to give you a guide or a graph, a Pareto graph, that you could drill down if all these issues, availability, performance, and quality. On the availability part, it will going to determine if it's planned or unplanned downtime. From those unplanned downtime, is it electrical, mechanical, or operational? And from those operational, it will going to give you which of that particular part of the machine is contributing to this defect. Now, all of those data will going to be in the data lake, and that data lake, it will going to be extracted by Siggy. So by this gateway, your core MES is your gateway. It will going to be extracted and orchestrated in such a way when you ask Siggy, this graph from this core MES will be reflected in your Siggy. Plus, it will going to give recommendations based on the machine manual that you will going to load. So
I saw a question about where does the data reside, and all companies are worried about their data, and all software companies like us need to have their data to be able to apply AI. But in factories in particular, you have to continue to operate even if you lose the internet, and it is not that uncommon to lose the internet anywhere in the world. And so we have our MES system. It has offline capability. Even if your internet goes down for a week, you can continue to operate. Though you won't have AI, you'll have maybe simple maintenance, manually assigned maintenance work orders, manual assigned quality work orders. And so the first important aspect is it works offline, but not for everything, right? So you still need the cloud to be able to marry in order to get the intelligence and the decision support. All customer data is encrypted and it's masked and it's not shared. Having said that, all customer data is mined for metadata, and that's what feeds our Alexandria library, is what we call it, which is really a digital twin archetypically at the lowest atomic level across all of the world of manufacturing and production. And so it's a race to companies like us to really find a way to provide AI in an easy and affordable way. The interesting thing is the top 7 companies right now that are being embraced by manufacturers like you are startups with 50 to 100 people just like us. And so world is changing. I'd look to innovation from small companies, not big companies, and we'd love to come out and prove that we can help your business.
Yeah.
If there are no other questions, Nasser?
One more question. What about the access of Siggy? If I have to access through the smartphone, this is a question from them. Yeah.
Yes, I use it all the time. When I'm meeting with customers, I show it on my iPhone and show them, how easy it is to use.
Perfect. Last question. Is there any minimum requirements for a factory to implement this AI solution? This is a
Yes.
question.
Yeah. So in order to get to AI in one day, it has to be a level 1 machine, and you have to have a tag list. If you don't have a tag list, you can do it, but it's painful. It's more painful. But AI to one day means we can plug and play in an Ethernet port or something equal, and it's able to identify one way or another what a tag means. And so if you don't have access to your PLCs, if you don't have access to your tag list, everyone needs it. And so I would encourage you all to call your OEMs and start negotiating, because they're difficult to work with sometimes.
It's over now. I can share the poll results. Yeah. So this was the first poll. If you can see over here, Tarik, if you can read that.
Yeah, so I'll read it out. Just the question, it says, where are you in your AI journey? And I'll tell you from reading a lot of reports and surveys from large manufacturers, actually from executives all over the world, attitudes have changed dramatically. In 2005, the average manufacturing executive, to only 20% of them believed that a dark factory or an autonomous factory was possible. In 2006, 85% believe it. And so we all know the impact of AI in our personal lives. So I'm going to repeat this question. Where are you in your journey in AI? The first question is, or the first answer is, we are already using AI in manufacturing. Only 9% are using it from this call anyway. It looks like a lot more, maybe a third of manufacturers, 30% are evaluating AI right now. Some already have AI programs on the go or planned. That's 40%. And then many have not yet started. And so it's not like even though we say it's one day to AI, it's not like this is going to be an overnight transformation. We're here to make it easy for you to get started, see if it's going to add any value, and hopefully you'll take us up on that offer. We thank you for spending the last 53 minutes with us.
There's one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Oh, there's another answer. I'm sorry. Okay, if you had an AI manufacturing Copilot today, what would you want to do with it first? You want to understand production losses, want to look after your equipment and assets better, quality is more important to you, getting the operations right, or really moving to a Copilot next best action. So the first one of losses, 60% of you would say that's a high priority. asset management, predictive maintenance, quality maintenance, AM, CILs, all of the elements associated with maintenance is also what was the answer to that? It's 50% of
So
50%.
there was a
And then,
multiple choice questions, but multiple answer here.
okay. Well, maybe you could, I think I've on you, I'm almost done. So, and next best action or recommendation engine is important to a third of you as well. So it's clear just from your answers that, like most manufacturers, you're hungry to understand digitalization. You're hungry to understand how AI can help you be more competitive, reduce losses, and be more profitable. All right, I think Mike, is it okay for me to wrap up now? So
Yeah,
with that said, we thank you for spending the last 55 minutes of your time with us. We know we're a startup, only 75 people. We're already going global, and we hope we'd have the credibility with you to give it a go. If you do, I can promise you intellectually you'll love it, and I can pretty much guarantee you'll likely want to keep it. So thank you very
just
much.
one more thing, Tarik, I needs to add that we have added the freemium page sign up for the form. If anyone wants to sign up for Siggy, they can sign up, and we will be calling you back for this. It's on the chat.
Oh, good. Excellent. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Thank you.